Hey paper dolls, it's Madeline. Welcome back to my channel. I am here today because I have partnered with QFUN to show you guys this awesome laminator, okay? QFUN sent me this laminator and we are gonna do a project today, all right? We are gonna make this adorable, pocket-sized, fun journal today, all right? But first, before we start that, let's go ahead and talk about the laminator, okay? So this is the box it came in, and I got this laminator, and look at this. Y'all know I'm a bit of an organization girly. You get a paper trimmer inside, you get binder rings, you get a corner rounder, and you get a little hole puncher. Now, is that not so cute? And it is really, really lightweight. So, I mean, it would be great for taking to a retreat or on the go. You also get a nice starter pack of laminating sheets. And I had such a good time making this little project, and I want to share with you guys how I did it and how you can use this QFUN laminator. All right, so for now, let me make some space on my workstation. All right, and let's get started with our project. All right, so to start, I went through and found a really pretty piece of cardstock. And I decided that I wanted to do some fabric collage on this side of the cardstock. So I pulled out a bag of my fabric scraps, which I have right here. And just to kind of get it tacked down, I use glue stick, all right? I don't want anything too thick or too heavy, and I want it to dry pretty quickly without warping my paper. So now, here comes the fun part. Let's go through my scraps and let's collage a cover. All right. So I was very excited when QFUN reached out to me and wanted to send me this laminator. And of course, you know, I would never steer you guys wrong. I think most of you know that's not my style. I'm very transparent about everything. And I seriously would not have made this video, and I would have sent it back had I, you know, if I had not liked it when I tried it out on my prototype. It's funny too because I don't have a laminator. And it's something that I had thought about purchasing, but I just wasn't really sure what to get or which one would be good. And so this really was a perfect little turn of fate when I had Hannah from QFUN reach out to me. I have been doing, as you guys know, a lot of really fun estate sale shopping lately, and one of my favorite things to pick up are these bags of fabric scraps. So I have had such a good time going through and deciding what to use. And you guys know that I'm a collage girly. I love collage. And I'm just using my pinking shears to trim these because I really like the look of a pinked edge. And I'm just going to go through right now and continue to just sort of randomly pick up pieces that I like and lay them down. You know, I'm not really trying to put a lot of thought into what I'm choosing. I think for me, when I overthink things like this, they don't come out quite as well. So just kind of reaching, but I have been on a, I think they call this a ditzy floral. I have been on a ditzy floral kind of thing lately where I am just loving all these little bitty floral prints. Oh, this is a cute one here. This came from a house of a woman who was a quilter, and oh my goodness, she had the cutest fabrics, and of course a lot of scraps, and that's one of the main things I went for, was picking up scraps because they're just perfect for projects like this. So keep your scraps, y'all. And it's so funny because I think in our world in particular, you know, other people's trash is, you know, somebody else's treasure, you know? Like, this is absolutely just treasure to me to have all these awesome scraps. Let's see, what color should we go for next? Let's see. I feel like I'm sort of working a reddish, kind of bluish kind of scenario here. So maybe how about some blue hearts in here? Do any of you guys have a laminator already? I'm telling you, I'm really excited about this one. I have got all kinds of fun projects in mind, and I just can't wait to just keep using it and making more things. And to be honest, you guys know I've started doing this, I don't know, maybe it's been like 4 years now, and I really have loved every step of the way. But in the back of my mind, I always see these other creators doing these amazing projects with laminators, and I've always thought, you know, I need to get a laminator. I could do X, Y, and Z. You know, there's so many fun applications you can use laminators for. Never pulled the trigger, and I'm sort of glad I didn't pull the trigger, because this is an absolutely amazing product, and I am really happy. Everything just happened right at the right time. Okay, so I am gonna just trim the edges, and then I think I'm gonna start laying this down. And this is also a no-sew project out there for my girlies that don't use sewing machines. All right, so I'm gonna use a purple glue stick today, just because I think that you can see it a little bit better on camera. So you can kind of see where I'm putting my glue down. And I'm not gonna get too worried about it being perfect. I really just wanna, you know, tack it in place. So when it goes through the laminator, I don't have any issues with my fabric shifting or anything. All right. And I may trim that at the top there. I always find doing these little collage projects rather, I just find them to be so relaxing. I really do. I'm also happy that they reached out to me in the summer, because I think this little project here is perfect for having a journal on the go to take on a trip that's pocket size, that you could pull out in a restaurant. You know, you could spill on it and it would not ruin it. You know, there's just so many great applications for having a laminated cover. And I know the possibilities are endless. let's see here, guys. Maybe I'm gonna put some of this down this side here. I love all these vintage fabrics. I mean, if somebody could make, you know, reproductions and sell reproductions of all these fabrics, I swear you would make a fortune just on junk journalers alone, I feel like. Okay, I think I'm gonna put that one there. And then we're gonna go back to our scraps and try to fill in the blanks and see what other little pieces we can put down here. I have this teeny tiny little heart piece, so I am going to put that there on the end. And I think before I send this through my laminator, I'm going to go through and just trim off the excess fabric that's hanging off. Okay. All right. Oh, this is pretty. See, so this is kind of the other thing when I am doing like these kind of collage projects, is sometimes if I just start putting my fabric down, I'll go back and I'll look at my pile of scraps and I'll see a scrap that I just didn't even notice before, like this one. Isn't this one beautiful? And it just matches perfectly. You know, just to kind of, I guess, take my eye away for just a second. And then you just notice something else. Oh, that is perfect there. All right, there we go. And then one more. You know what would be cute here? Let's pull back in a piece of this green. Yep, I love that from the other side. And I know it takes a little bit more time to pink the edges with your pinking shears, but I love the result. I think the result is just so pretty. All right. There we go. Okay, I am super happy with that. Now I'm just gonna go back and get some of my corners glued down good. Oh yeah, I love that. All right, so now I'm going to flip this over and trim along the edges. And then one more little place. And I am not trying to be perfect. You know, this is a junk journal. It is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to have little flaws. All right, now, let me move my scraps out of the way so I can bring in the main event. Here is our laminator. And y'all, it is so easy to use. I've got it plugged in. I'm just gonna turn it on right there, okay? And I wanna do, you can do cold or hot laminating, and I wanna do hot, all right? So that's gonna blink. I'm gonna let that warm up. While that's warming up, I'm gonna get my sheet, my laminating sheet right here. And they really do send you a good, generous amount in different sizes to get started with. Oh, I don't think I gave y'all a size on this. This is just an, let's see here, 10.5. Let me do a measurement here. No, 11.5. Yeah, 8.5. 8.5 by 11. 8.5 by 11. Yep, just piece of scrapbook paper. Okay. Now here's my laminating sheet. I'm gonna open it up right here. Okay. And then I am going to carefully, you know what I'm gonna do first though? Hang on, hang with me, okay? I think I wanna do a little inking around the edges. So let me just grab my ink. Yeah, I love that. That looks good. And then I'm going to just trim off a teeny bit more there, because I just noticed that, and then a little bit more up here at the top. And I'm taking y'all in real time through this, okay? Because I want you to be able to see how it doesn't take that long to create this project, all right? So I'm not gonna fast forward. I'm gonna show y'all in real time what this is like. All right, so I wanna get my laminating sheet good and centered on all sides in here. All right, and that looks really good to me. Let me just give this another little move right there. Make sure I'm all lined up. All right, and then I'm just gonna lay this down like that. All right, and I see a teeny tiny little string hanging out, and I don't want any strings, so you just pull that out of there. Perfect. Okay, so this laminator is already warmed up from the time it took us to do that. Okay, so it warms up that fast. Here we go. And I'm going to simply feed this through. All right, and you can see that this has stopped blinking, so it's definitely warm. And here comes the magic. Just feeding through. There it goes. And then here it comes. Y'all, how cute, how easy, and how cute is that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. All right, let me move. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my laminator off because I'm finished with it for the moment, and move it to the side. And y'all, look at this. Oh my gosh. Is that not so fun? I love it. Okay, so now I am going to grab my scoreboard. Okay. And I want to trim just a teeny bit off the ends. Okay. Like that. And then trim a little bit more off this end. Like this here. And get it to about 11.5. Okay. And then I'm gonna score this. All right. So center of 11.5 would be 5 3/4. Okay, so I'm gonna go 1/4 of an inch on either side of that, because I want a teeny tiny little spine. Because if I'm using this for travel, I want to be able to put a lot of things in it. Okay, and I'm really going to press down on my scoreboard and get that good and scored. All right. Okay. Let's move the scoreboard out of the way. So now you guys can see the score marks. Sorry about the glare. All right, so I'm just gonna very kind of gently work a fold here into these score marks. like that, just really gently. And then here is, whoop, let me get the other one. There we go. That's the best way to do that. Now, if you do so, I'm sure you could do a little bit of a stitch around the edges. I haven't tried it. I don't see why not. I've sewn through stuff much thicker than this before. But, oh my gosh, look at that. There is our cover. And I think I want that to be the front. Yeah, I think I want that to be the front. Okay, so I went ahead and I made a signature already. And this is about 10 pages, like 10 sheets of paper. So it's going to be 40 pages, which I think is perfect for a little travel journal. And I'm going to grab out my binding kit. Oop, let's not bind upside down. You guys know I'm good at that. All right, so I'm going to put my paper clip there and put my paper clip here to hold on the cover. Okay, and when I am binding a one signature journal, I typically do not use a guide. I just eyeball it. So I'm just gonna eyeball 3 holes. 3 holes here. All right, and then I have my waxed linen thread here, and I'm just gonna do 3 lengths like I always do. 1, 2, 3, and I want to put some charms, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more because I want to dangle some charms. And I'm going to use a little bit different binding technique with this. And let me show you what I mean. Typically, I would start from the center and go that way. Today, I'm going to start from the outside. Okay. And come in this way. Let's see. We're going to go in the outside, and then, okay, there's my center hole. There we go. All right. And pull through. I'm going to leave a good tail here. All right, I'm going to just hold it with my finger, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom and go through the bottom on the inside. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the top and then go in this way. Make sure I have it all lined up good. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay, there we go. And then I'm gonna pull this taut in the back, okay? And I'm gonna go in through the center, like so. And I wanna make sure I'm not going through my string that is already in there, okay? I wanna make sure I just wanna go right next to it. Okay, I'm gonna pull that out, and I'm gonna put this on either side, like so. It looks like this on the back, all right? And I'm gonna tie a couple good knots, like so. And I know I have way too much wax linen thread, but I would rather have more than not enough. So let me trim this here. I'm gonna just trim it there, and I'll save this for tags. And then, y'all, I had the cutest little flower beads that I had in my stash. So I'm gonna add a couple of those cutie little flower beads and a few other just coordinating beads from a bead set. And super simple. I'm just gonna thread on a few little beads, okay? And let's do the green flower, and let's do another bead like this, okay? And then I kind of want them to hang, I don't know, about there, so I'm just going to kind of guesstimate and tie a knot, and then I'm going to tie another knot like that, okay? Oh, so cute. I love it. Okay, and then let's I've got some blue ones in this kit, some blue little, oops, round beads. So let's do some blue round beads to bring in some of our blue fabrics. Okay. So, I mean, you really could do a lot with just a little beading kit like that. You don't have to have a huge stash. Okay, and then I'm just gonna tie this one off. All right, and let me give it one more knot just to make sure it's good and secure. Alrighty, perfect. Okay, and then I'm gonna leave these a little bit long, so I'm just gonna trim it here. And you guys, look at that. There you have it. So cute for travel. Lots of different kinds of pages for making lots of notes. Just a good kind of, you know, monthly journal, travel journal, list journal to keep in your bag. And it is going to stay really good and together because you've got this laminated sheet on it. And I've got kids. They are messy and sticky and spill things, and this is gonna be good and protected. And that's it, y'all. So I want to thank QFUN again. I'm gonna put a fun paper clip here like that to keep it closed. I want to thank QFUN again for reaching out to me. You know, I made this whole project in less than 30 minutes. And I will have a link to this below if anybody's interested. And I hope y'all have a great day, paper dolls. Let me know if you pick one up. Bye.